Now, of course, this insert is brought to you by BUI Innovation, Delivery and Results. Conrad, as well as Terry-Ann. Good afternoon, guys.
Hi, Timber.
Hi, Timber.
Are you guys well?
All good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm good. I'm actually feeling much more better. Everything has been going well. I'm even, like you said, you like my shirt, so I'm good.
You're looking good. Definitely.
It is time for us to be having another chat into Tech Talk. Now, this week is something, I'm going to say something very, very different, because a whole lot of people have been talking about it. Yesterday, we actually had Crime Talk, and we actually spoke about one of these topics. And today, here we are again. And of course, I think it's a good thing, because it's basically the whole week that's basically looking into this protection as well.
I think that's the whole point of this week.
Correct.
So, yes, this week you've probably heard it a lot. It's National Child Protection Week, and that's what we're talking about today. So we at BUI care about our families and we care about our children, so we thought it would just be fitting to carry on with the theme and talk about child safety when it comes to the internet today.
Now, it is in our hands, basically, to stop the cycle of neglect and abuse, violence, as well as exploitation of children. Now, children in South Africa live in a society with a constitution that has the highest regard for their rights and for the equality and dignity of everyone. Now, protecting children from violence, exploitation, and abuse is not only a basic value, but also an obligation clearly set out in Article 28 of the South African Constitution.
That's true. Now, we're living in a world where everything is connected. It offers many opportunities for children to find themselves on websites or in situations where their basic values are compromised. Now, many parents opt to protect their children by keeping them safe, by keeping them away from the internet and devices and so on. But as we move into an era where we cannot be without technology, I firmly believe that we should allow our children the time to become not only technologically savvy, but to teach them the life skills they need while doing so. Now, when it comes to cyber safety or internet safety, we need to protect our children against predators. That's people that are pretending to be someone who they are not to gain their trust. Now, we always had the picture of somebody sitting in their basement pretending to be a little girl, but it's so much more than that nowadays. Then we have things like cyberbullying, where children and teenagers are often targeted by online bullies, including real-life bullies. Conrad, do you mind telling us what cyberbullying means?
Cyberbullying means using online technology to hurt someone on purpose. And yes, there are many of those people.
That's it. Then we have scammers, who you all have heard us talk about quite often, but this happens to children too. People trick children into divulging sensitive information about themselves. And then another thing which I've been experiencing is children seeing or being exposed to content that's not suitable for their age groups. Now, in the same way that we teach our kids to be safe in the real world, we teach them to look out for strangers, look left, look right, look left again, be careful what information you share, who you talk to. It's the same way we need to teach our children to be safe in the virtual world or on the internet. Be aware of stranger danger.
Correct.
Now, an example I can share with you today is about my daughter. My daughter plays an online game in which there's an interaction with other players all across the world. And in this game, they collect items and they often swap it out with other players to focus on a specific theme or collection that they want to have. Now, would you believe me if I tell you that there's scammers on this game?
Well, when you speak about people that are coming in from around the world, I actually had that sign. I thought to myself, whoa, around the world? Imagine that.
Well, there's kids that scam on the game. Unfortunately, my daughter learned the hard way about scammers, that they exist, when she wanted to trade an item for another item and was the first to give her item and got nothing in return.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true, because my daughter was in that same game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were very upset. I had a daughter in tears. But this gave me the opportunity to teach them about trading online and online scammers and how to be safe and what to do and how to handle yourself in these cases.
Adults are caught in scams every day, purchasing things via the internet and even on ads in newspapers. The younger the people start to understand to be careful, the better.
That's it. So let's start with our kids.
That's the best way to do it. Now, Terry-Ann, when we are talking about our children, like you said yourself, you do have a daughter, and Conrad also has a daughter. Let us indulge into this. I mean, you know, like a children nowadays, basically, they go to school, they see young children having cell phones. Now, you haven't bought your daughter a cell phone yet, and the daughter goes home and yells the whole day, Mommy, I saw a phone. I would like this. What age do you guys think, especially from a tech-savvy person, do you think it's very appropriate for a child to be having a cell phone?
I don't think I'm the right person to answer that because my children have been given phones at a very young age with limitations. In our situation, my children's grandmother lives in Botswana.
Oh, wow.
So for a communication method, she was given a phone with WhatsApp, limited to only speaking to Granny.
Wow.
So there have been rules and it has been set out in ways to keep them safe, but allow the communications that is necessary. Especially last year with the lockdown.
Yeah.
Many people gave children phones. So it solely depends on the parent and how you see fit, but you need to practice safety tips,
You're right.
which I'll share with you after the break.
It is indeed Gold FM 104.3 taking you out to lunch with a BUI Innovation Results as well as a delivery. In studio with me, of course, I do have a Terry-Ann as well as Conrad. And of course, we are still talking about this whole world of child protection and what cell phones actually bring.
That's it. So, as Temba mentioned, we're talking about internet safety during Child Protection Week. And Conrad, before the break, we mentioned some important points when it comes to cyber safety, how we can go about keeping our children safe.
So please give us some basic guidelines on that.
Absolutely. So, parents, to keep your children safe against predators and scammers, teach them to never post or trade pictures online. Never reveal personal information online. That is your address, your cell phone number, where you live, or the school you go to. And do not fill out any forms online without a parent being present. Don't use your personal name. For example, when you're playing a game, don't set your screen name to be Temba Mayakiso 1. That would be a bad idea. Rather use something like Iron Man 95 or like my daughter you can use.
No. Don't share your daughter's name on air, please.
Good save.
It's not
Good
cyber
save. I'm just
safe.
testing you. I'm just testing you.
Okay, cool.
Teach your children to always tell a parent about any message or conversation that was scary or hurtful. Now, parents, when it comes to cell phones, what I done with my daughter was save only the numbers of the persons they are allowed to communicate with on their phones. And then instruct your children not to answer calls or messages from numbers that they don't know. And instruct them to tell you when someone they don't know contacts them. So what my daughter would do is she would come to me and she'd say, Mommy, this number called me, I don't know it. And then I would show her, okay, this is the way we block a number. This is how we block a contact and delete it within WhatsApp. So teach them to only communicate with people they know. And then to protect your children from unsuitable content. This is actually quite easy. When viewing or using a computer, add the websites they are allowed to visit in the favorites tab, in other words, bookmark them, and only let them make use of this. Use YouTube Kids instead of standard YouTube. With TikTok, you can configure a restricted account and limit what they are able to see. And then with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and other online video platforms, you can create a kids profile and only allow your children to use this. And then parents, to protect your children from cyberbullying is quite a tough one.
Well, you won't always be able to protect them from this, but you can support them in how they interact in the online world.
That's absolutely true. So talk to your child about what cyberbullying is. And teach your child not to do or say anything online they would not say in person. Now, often people think they can hide behind a computer screen and they'll never suffer the consequences from what they've said. Then help your child to walk away from online arguments. They are in control. They can put the phone down, close the browser session, and end it. Keep the lines of communication open with your child so that they can come to you if they're in a situation where they feel bullied online. And then keep an eye on your child's online interactions. Ask your child to show you who they're talking to, who they're interacting with, what's being said. When my kid's playing online, I'll often go take her headset, put it on, listen to how the people are communicating, what they're saying. I listen to how she answers them. Often we'll take her cell phone as well, and we'll go through her WhatsApp messages and just check what's being said on the groups of friends. Is there anything bad being said? Is somebody saying something inappropriate? And then action that. So don't leave your child alone. Be involved.
Correct.
Okay, so in short, teach your kids to be smart online.
That's it. So being smart online stands for S, to be safe. Do not share personal information. M for meeting. Do not meet up with someone you have only interacted with online. A is for accepting. Accepting emails, messages, files, or photos from people you don't know can lead to problems. R is for reliability. Information on the internet may not always be true. Someone might be lying about who they are. And T, tell. Tell your parents or a trusted adult if someone or something makes you feel uncomfortable or worried, or tell someone if you or someone you know is being bullied online. So be smart. Now, Conrad, are there any warning signs to look out for which could indicate that your child is being targeted by an online predator or cyberbullying?
Yes, there are. Okay, so spending long hours online, especially at night. Phone calls from people you don't know. Unsolicited gifts arriving in the mail. Your child suddenly turning off the computer when you walk into the room. I mean, has that happened to you, Terianne?
Not yet.
All right.
Thank goodness.
Withdrawal from family life and reluctance to discuss online activities. This is only a couple of them.
Yeah, so keep an eye on your kid and look out for anything that is abnormal or any changes that could have happened. If there's one important point that you can take out of the session, it is to talk to your kids. Be open, discuss things with them, be involved, ask them, what are you playing, who are you talking to, what's happening, what did you see, what program did you watch today. Talk to your kids and be involved.
And also listen to them. Sometimes
That's
they
it.
do speak. And like we were talking yesterday, is that a whole lot of parents nowadays, because we are so clumped up in life. Now, life is something that is very important. I mean, from here, for instance, like you do not work here, Terry, and you have another company, as in BUI. From BUI, you have to come to Gold FM. From Gold FM, you have to go to BUI. And then from there, you have to go home. You have to do this and this. And sometimes your daughter does speak to you. It's just that little moment, it just surpasses because there was something that was in your head. Just take the time to listen.
Absolutely true, Temba. That is it.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes, I hope our listeners have learned something and that in this Child Protection Week that they can take something home and teach their children to be safe online.
That is amazing. Terry-Ann, Conrad, thank you so much for joining me right here on Gold FM 104.3. Cannot wait
Thanks
to
so
see
much,
you again
Temba.
next
Thank you,
week,
Tim.
guys. I really cannot. It is really inspiring with what you guys are doing. And of course, it is quite enlightening. That's how we do it.
That's what we want to do.
Well, that was the insert with a BUI, and of course, it is brought to you by BUI Innovation, Delivery, and Results.